delivered from the cross alive. So they failed to crucify him to death, survived that attempt of murder, and the Holy Quran says, وَمَا قَتَلُوهُ يَقِينًا. And they most certainly failed to murder him. But did he die or not? This is the question. Another verse declares, وَمَا مُحَمَّدٌ إِلَّا رَسُولٌ قَدْ خَلَتْ مِنْ قَبْلِهِ الرُّسُلُ. Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam was nothing but a prophet of Allah, messenger of God, not more than that. However great he was, still he was a prophet of God. And all the prophets of God before him have passed away. وَمَا مُحَمَّدٌ إِلَّا رَسُولٌ قَدْ خَلَتْ مِنْ قَبْلِهِ الرُّسُلُ. This and many other verses speak of the certain death of Jesus Christ. The same style of expression is used about Jesus Christ himself, peace be upon him, when the Holy Quran says, وَمَا الْمَسِيحُ ابْنُ مَرْيَمَ إِلَّا رَسُولٌ قَدْ خَلَتْ مِنْ قَبْلِهِ الرُّسُلُ. So it is repeated in case of Jesus Christ to reassure the Muslims that Jesus is not bodily alive. He was a prophet of Allah, so he met a normal natural death in the end. His end was through normal natural death. He was not raised bodily to heaven. So these are the reasons and many more why we believe that Jesus could not have descended from heaven where he never ascended to. If it is proved by the Holy Quran that he died and was buried in earth, then the Quran should have claimed that he will rise from the grave. But the Quran says he will descend from the heaven. The Quran does not say, a hadith says. The Quran does not mention his descent from heaven at all. But the hadith says, and it uses the word nuzul. Nuzul means something, an act of descent. But the question is, when the word nuzul is used about most things, do they always bodily descend from heaven? This is the question. We know in the Holy Quran that, we read in the Holy Quran that according to God, the metal iron descended from heaven. Did anybody see iron raining from the heaven? We dig it out from the earth. But more than that, stranger than that, we read in the Quran that the milk-giving animals, al-anam, were made to descend from heaven. Has anybody ever seen a rain of sheep and cattle and camels from the heaven? Why not? If the word nuzul means literally physical descent, then in these places the descent should be of physical carnal bodies. But more than that, Hadhrat Muhammad Rasulullah is mentioned in the Quran as having descended from heaven under the word nuzul. The verse, Anzalallahu ilaykum zikra rasula. Qad anzalna hai or anzalat? I want to find out, please. Anzalallahu ilaykum or anzalna ilaykum, please. I'll quote the exact verse, but the word nuzul is used. That we made Hadhrat Muhammad Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam to descend. قد أنزل الله إليكم ذكرا رسولا يتلو عليكم آيات الله مبينات ليخرج الذين آمنوا وعملوا الصالحات من الظلمات إلى النور. Now I remind you that Hadhrat Muhammad Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam is the only prophet. I repeat, the only prophet who is mentioned in the Quran under the word nuzul, that God made him descend. Jesus is not mentioned in the Quran under this title, under this word. So strange is the position of the Muslim ulama. When they read in Hadith that there was a nuzul of Jesus Christ, there would be a nuzul of Jesus Christ, they take it literally. But when it is mentioned of Hadhrat Muhammad Rasulullah, they do not take it literally. When it is mentioned that animals descend, they do not take that literally. When it is mentioned that iron descends, they do not take literally. And they never attempt to understand the underlying meaning and wisdom of these expressions. You see, there are so many metals created by God, but none has been more useful than iron for the progress of human civilization and other progress in other fields, in his economy, in his society, in settling the mutual issues of war and peace and so on and so forth. Throughout the history, the metal iron has played the most important and beneficial role for mankind. So it is the only metal mentioned in the Quran under the word anzala or nuzul, which means nuzul is a very special expression used for the most beneficial things out of a category of things. There are so many animals created by Allah, but none has been mentioned with the help of the word nuzul, except the cattle, the milk-giving animals, the animals of which we eat, of whose flesh we eat. Because an'am are the most beneficial animals of all the animals created by God for the sustenance of humans. So what a wonderful choice of the words the Quran makes. The word nuzul invariably means the very best of the species. So when you turn to the prophets, the word nuzul to be used in relation to Hazrat Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam is absolutely consistent with the whole usage. Because it is the Quran itself which claims that of all the prophets of Allah, Hazrat Muhammad Rasulullah is the best and the most beneficent. And he is the one who was sent as a source of blessing to all the mankind. So when the word nuzul is mentioned in the Holy Quran, these ulama, throw blind glances at them. They never attempt to understand the meaning. That is why they fail to recognize the meaning of the word nuzul in relation to Jesus Christ. Because he would appear in the Ummah to perform a great task of conveying the message of Islam to the world of Christianity, and also to invite them to his real image. What true Jesus was, a humble servant of God and not a little son of God. That is why this title was to be given to Al-Imam al-Mahdi. So they are not two different persons, they are two titles which can be combined in one single person. Thank you.
Hazur, this is the last question. And this is from Mr. Khwaja Asif Mahmood of Wimbledon.
Yes.
And he is present in the hall, but he wants me to read it out.
Yes.
Every religion and religious sect claim to be true and with wisdom.
Correct.
How can you be sure that the belief that you hold represent the truth and wisdom?
Correct. The only instrument of finding out is wisdom itself, but not wisdom alone, honesty as well. According to the Holy Quran, although the book itself has no shadow of doubt about it, No element of doubt.